I live in a very rural part of Pennsylvania. Many of my neighbors, almost all of them, voted for Donald Trump. But I've been elected over and over and over again. I got arrested at a Donald Trump fundraiser in Pittsburgh a few years ago. Again, it was a corruption issue. But to answer your question, we have to get beyond the A team and the B team and the blue team and the red team. My neighbors know where I stand on the environment. They know where I stand on human rights. They know where I stand on abortion. And you wouldn't think that my neighbors would vote for me, but I've held elected office in Cherry Valley since 1989. And it's because I talk to my neighbors, they talk to me. It's a human interaction. And I think that's what needs to happen. We need to get beyond this team thing. We need to talk to each other.
And that's why I chose the Pocono People First as my campaign slogan. There are things in business, for example, if you worked in business, we don't go in and look at somebody as Democrat, Republican, Independent. No, you focus on what needs to get done and you focus towards the solution. Once again, I appreciate what Maureen Madden has done. You guys don't know how hard her job is. You guys don't realize how hard it is to run and how much crap she takes every single day. There's a lot out there, and there's stuff I can agree with her. And that's where we should be working on, is the common ground. Do I want to see the state shut down by somebody that's going to rule over it, over a woman's health? No, I have 2 daughters. There is common ground out there. I've visited thousands of doors. Listen to the people. They're tired of the bickering too. We all want to get the common ground. But to get to that, what we have to do, and you're right, we have to stop putting people on teams. First thing I did when I put my team together, I said, if anybody puts an R against a D, there's the door. I don't have time for it. Because I have so little life left, and what I want to do is accomplish something great for the Poconos. That's it. That's why I'm running. And if you start putting people together, you see results. I've shown people time and time and time again in the Poconos. That's how you do it. Work together, be positive. And if you don't agree with something, at least listen to them. Have some empathy. And that's one great thing I've learned how to do through this whole process. Listen to the other side, because you might learn something. We're not always right.
Thank you, Steve. If we can hear from Jennifer.
Yeah, when I was 21 years old, I was here studying biology, and I met with the DCNR about an environmental interview I was doing with them, and they had 2 maps up, and one map was our county, all green, and the other map was our county, all orange. And he noticed me looking at him, and he explained to me that one map, the all green, was 1998, and the other map in all orange was the amount of development that was going to happen within the following 10 years, which meant the green was gone, the trees were going to be gone. And it was shocking to me at 21 years old to see this. And I had no idea at that point in time that I could have run for township supervisor or city council, and I could have had a say as to how the zoning would be that would affect how much development and what type of development could happen. So what we need to understand is, doesn't matter how old you are, when you're 18, you can get involved in local politics. And I now serve as a township supervisor on a bipartisan board. My political party has absolutely nothing to do with the decisions that I make, because my job is to administrate for the safety and fairness of my community. And those are my goals. Now, to run for office, it's very tribal because it's almost a popularity contest. You're trying to get votes, and you're trying to run against another person who's also trying to obtain that same position. So it creates this atmosphere and this culture of adversity and of division. And it's really frustrating, but if you are focused on the end goal, and Maureen will speak to what actually happens when you are elected and you can serve in that capacity, but my foresight and my intent on becoming a state senator is to continue to work together with other legislators without party in mind, with goals and solutions in mind, and trying to have a common understanding and eliminate this. And not every legislator does what they say, but we have to look at what their actions are. and vote for that person based on their actions and change the climate that is our legislator by doing so.
I'd like to echo what others have said. I think the real issue is the team sports, is the team politics. You know, the A team versus B team. This is becomes unhealthy, and I think competition in of itself is actually a good thing, right? But it has to be looked at or done with a level of humanity and recognizing that your opponent is not your enemy. Your opponent is your colleague, and it needs to be done. Competition should be done from a position of love, not a position of hate. And that's what things have devolved into now. It's like, well, I hate that team. I hate them. And it's no longer a competition for the benefit of all. It's competition for the benefit of me, right? And that's what's unhealthy. And I think that stems from this greater issue that we have a loss of community, right? Most people don't know their own neighbors anymore, right? People don't know anyone other than like through an avatar on the internet. And we're not human beings. You know, we're not people to each other. We're just things. And that needs to be addressed at a greater level, a greater like societal level, not just politics. I mean, politics as a whole, I mean, I can go on a whole rant that I think it's bad, but I recommend you read Murray Rothbard's essay, Anatomy of the State. And he discusses this, I think, at great length.
So, I've been hearing about this Team A and this Team B, and I think it really trivializes who I am as a Democrat. Because who I am as a Democrat is to my core. It has always been to my core. And Republicans are not my enemy, but they are the opposition. Because I believe that when you graduate from college, you should not have crippling debt that will negate you ever being able to buy a house for 10, 20 years. I believe that whether you are the CEO of a company or you are the person making beds and cleaning rooms at Great Wolf Lodge or Kalahari or the Stroudsmore or at Steve Ertle's The Lounge, I think at the end of the week, you deserve a paycheck that reflects the dignity of your work, and you ought to be able to pay your bills and you ought to have a little bit left over. I am the only representative in all of Monroe County, not Rosemary Brown, not Jack Rader, not Mario Schiavello, that has a 100% environmental rating. I've literally not voted against the environment. The other legislators, I think Mario's at about 19%. Rosemary and Jack have literally never voted for the environment in any piece of legislation. And that there are just stark differences between our party, and I'm not attacking by articulating those differences. I am letting you know what those differences are and what I stand for and what the other side stands for. Now, we do work together. Steve was talking about broadband and how we don't have broadband and how the legislators aren't working to bring broadband. That's not true. I had a broadband rally in my second term, and people came around and we talked about the issues, and we got Blue Ridge there, and we got Governor Wolf there, and we got Senator Schiavello's office there. And just last session, we passed the Broadband Infrastructure Act that was sponsored by a Democrat, Pam Snyder, and a Republican who I apologize, whose name I can't remember. But that laid the groundwork for us to be able to accept the federal dollars that are coming to us for broadband infrastructure.
Thank you, Marie.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to thank you guys for coming here, and I appreciate the candid discussion. I really do appreciate it. I know that some of you came very far, and I know that a couple of us were expecting a few more people, and I just want to say that I really appreciate the people that came really far, and as well as the people who live, close by, who also put an effort to come here. Just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you guys coming here, and I appreciate the work you guys put in. Can we give a round of applause for them? Thank you.